Hello and welcome to Shorts. Today I'm going to cover the topic of object-oriented programming. Please pause the video if you would like to read the topics that I'm going to be covering. Due to a limited amount of time, I'm going to start by creating a new package. I'm going to call this package 2. Inside this package, I'm going to create two new classes. A main class, in which our main method is going to exist, and I'm going to create the object that I'm going to be modeling, a class for the object that I would like to model, which is going to be a circle. Now, to model a circle completely in two-dimensional space, I need exactly 3 instant variables. I'm going to set these variables to private, I'm going to use a private double of pi, and I'm going to set this equals to final, and I'm just going to write the first few characters of pi in here. I'm going to make a private double radius and a private double x position and a private double y position. And with these 4 variables, I'm going to be able to totally model my circle in two-dimensional space. I'm going to create a constructor now. A constructor is a special type of method, and the way Java notes a constructor is that its name is the same as the name of the class. We're going to pass it a number of variables. And then using the this keyword, I'm going to set these equals to our instant variables. As you can see, if I click on radius, it's going to associate it with our instant variable. And if I click on this radius, it's going to associate it with the variable that we have passed to our circle. I'm going to do this for our x position and y position as well. And now our circle is ready to be modeled. I'm going to go into our main method and make my new object of circle. I'm going to call this circle1. Using the new keyword, I'm going to invoke the constructor, and it's going to give me these variables which I can now initialize. I'm going to set the radius equals to 3, and I'm going to set this to the center of a Descartes coordinate system. Then I'm going to print out. I'm running out of myself. Now, to make this useful, I'm going to make a new method inside the circle class. This is going to be a public method that's going to return a double. Its name is going to be calculate circumference. And it's going to take no variables. I'm going to initialize this is going to be returning the circumference of the circle. Now I'm going to initialize the circumference, and here in the middle I'm going to I'm just going to initialize it right here. So set the circumference equals to 2 times pi times radius. I just get rid of these empty lines, and then I'm going to go ahead and make another method, except this is going to calculate not the circumference but the area. I'm going to change these to area, return area, and the mathematical equation for calculating the area of a circle is pi times radius squared. I'm just going to say radius times radius. Now I can go back to my main method, and I would like to print the values returned by these methods for circle 1. So I'm going to put inside the printout, I'm going to ask this to be printed. This is going to calculate area. I'm going to say system.out, and for circle 1 object, calculate circumference. And if I run this, we should get these results. Now, to utilize this new class we have created, I'm going to demonstrate that by creating a new method in the main class. And I'm going to call this class public static calculate center distance. And this is going to calculate the center distance of 2 circles. So I'm going to pass it 2 objects of class type circle, circle 1, and a circle called circle 2. This is going to return the center distance. Center distance is going to be double, and I'm going to initialize center distance with the following. Now, center distance is actually going to be calculated using the Pythagoras theorem. So center distance is going to be equals, and this is going to be the Pythagoras theorem. I'm going to take it apart into 2 operations to make it easier to understand. Now we're going to be just taking the square root using the java.lang class, and we're going to be using this map.square-root to calculate a. A is going to be the hypotenuse squared, and so I'm going to initialize a. A is going to be a double, and that's going to be equal to the power of a squared plus b squared, and that is going to look, for our case, math.power. A is what we're going to be raising to the power of b. B is going to be 2 because we're going to be squaring it, and A is going to be the difference between the x position of circle 1 and the x position of circle 2. Now we somehow need a method to get these positions, which we have set here. Now the only way I can do that is by going back into our circle class and generating getters and setters. And with this, I'm going to be able to call this information to this class. So I'm going to just quickly generate getters and setters because it's a lot easier than writing them myself. And I'm also going to be generating getters and setters for x and y position. And actually I'm only going to be needing getters at this point. So I'm going to, and this, when I call this method, is going to return the x position and y position from right here. So I'm just going to go back into our main class and quickly finish this program. We were right here. And what I'm going to say is circle 1 then get x position minus circle 2 then get x position. And now I'm going to take this and do the same thing in the y distance. And I'm going to be adding this. Actually, I'm just going to put it into a new line for the sake of visibility. And all I'm going to be doing is changing x to y. Oh, it is asking, we forgot to set the return time to double. There we go. And now I think we're done. Now I'm going to test this by creating a new empty line. And then I'm going to say system.out.print, and I'm going to pass the calculate center distance method. And this would like to receive two variables of type class. And I have initialized circle 1, but I have not yet initialized circle 2. So I'm going to initialize a circle called circle 2. Right now I'm creating an object called circle 2. And the radius of this is going to be, let's say, 5. It doesn't really matter for this method that we're creating. And the x position, to make it easy, for the x-axis it is going to be 3. And the y position is going to be 0. And this way I'm going to know that the difference in length, the difference in the center distance is going to be 3. So I'm expecting 3 as a result. And I have already called this method. I call the system.out print line to print the double which this method is returning. And so I'm going to run this program. And we have gotten 3 just as we expected. And I'm pretty sure that this means that our program is functioning correctly. Although I could add a -3 here, a -1 here, and then we're going to be expecting a 4 if we run it again. And yes, it is functioning correctly. I can add this any crazy number, and it is going to automatically calculate it for me. Alright, well, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you find this video useful, and see you in the next one.